Great to be with you. Thanks, Brian.
So, you know, the president confirmed it. You probably knew it. So what could you tell us about this guy and the relief you must feel that we got him?
Well, I think everybody's relieved, Brian, and I think like most people, we were hearing this morning directly from the president, and obviously very good news in the sense that there's a lot of anxiety, I think, out there right now about this, and having him still at large. So the fact that he's been apprehended and is being held now in custody, I think will come as a great relief to all Americans, and obviously a set of circumstances that we don't want to see in the future. And I'm hoping that there'll be some lessons learned from this, but time will tell.
It does seem to be somebody who disagreed with him politically, to be kind.
Yeah.
So instead of someone saying, "Oh, I'm a crazy guy that wants to kill people and be famous," maybe the John Lennon assassin, this person hated what he stood for. I think that makes it more concerning.
Right. Well, it does, because it gets at the heart of what this country is all about, and that is open access and an opportunity to have public debates, to air our differences in a way that you know, is hopefully in most circumstances obviously respectful. But this is an example of where a disagreement spilled over into just violence and lethal violence. And so there's no justification, no defense, no excuse. This is the kind of thing that just has to be dealt with. He needs to be prosecuted to the full letter of the law.
So what are you telling lawmakers who are concerned about even having events this weekend? You know, AOC said, "I'm canceling my event in North Carolina." What do you say to people? I mean, you might feel the same way.
Well, I mean, I have had a number of our colleagues in the Senate who have expressed concerns and suggested that they're, and so we're trying to work with individual senators to come up with plans that provide a level of security for them when they're back home in their states. And we had, to your point, we had a number of them this week that expressed concerns about their safety, the safety of their families, and particularly at public events. So, you know, and it's unfortunate, Brian, because this is the thing to me about America and our political system, is that the access that people have to public officials. And so if you have to start in some way, restraining members from being out there, or, sort of fear of public safety, that's a really unfortunate circumstance.
What impact did he make, Charlie Kirk, on your job, your reelection, you being the majority right now, the president being back in the White House?
Well, I think he had a powerful impact, as we all know, politically, in the sense that he got younger people motivated to vote. And
Did you think that was possible as a Republican?
No, I mean, we've always, as you know, we've been in the wilderness for a long time with the younger generations, but he had a way of connecting with people that made them feel part of something that's bigger than themselves. And I think most people want to be part of something that gives them a sense, a cause that's bigger than themselves. And I think that was the real gift that he had, was not only the strength of his convictions, which were clear, but also his passion for sharing those. And there was a spirituality about him, I think, too, that people find attractive today. That was infectious. And I think a lot of young people in particular are looking for something to believe in, something in which they can find hope. And I think he represented that to a lot of people. And they were able to identify with him and the things that the convictions that he held.
So let's talk about what you have to do, front and center. Next week will be the funeral. We're going to find out details about the assassin within 25 minutes. But you have to try to keep the government open. And you also have to try to get over 100 nominees through who are without controversy, just being held up for political purposes. What are you doing on both?
Yeah, I mean, Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats have engaged in petty partisanship on a level that has been unseen in American history. We've gone back in the annals of history, can't find a president who has had the opposition party completely shut down his ability to get his people in place. He was a duly elected president. He won an election in this country. The people of this country expect him to have his team to be able to implement his agenda. The Democrats in the Senate have been
And you got the first round through quick.
We did. We worked very, very quickly, but we just stayed in and just ground it out. Well, you get past that upper level and you start getting to the sub-cabinet level people who historically have been just kind of waved through by unanimous consent or voice vote, in many cases because they're not controversial. And obviously, I think most Americans, and I certainly hold this view, that the president deserves to have his team in place. The Democrats have blocked that at every turn, so we took a unique step yesterday to bust that loose. And so in the next week or two, we will be processing big blocks of the president's nominees.
So for now on, the way you do nominees have changed.
It's changed.
Just simply your votes?
Well, I mean, we're going to be able to, we will be able to now move them in blocks, which is something, honestly, believe it or not, the Democrats had suggested back when Biden was president. And so we gave them a chance yesterday to vote on that. They blocked the vote. And so we went forward with a rules change. We will fully complete early next week, and then we'll vote on the first 50 or so nominees that are held up.
So that'll be great. Mike Waltz, one of them?
Mike Waltz is in one of those blocks, either the first one or the second one, I think.
Because you're going to have the 80th year of the UN. Would not be great not to have a UN ambassador.
Yeah, I know, totally.
Especially him.
And we understand that, yeah. And it's important we get him in that position. Yeah,
all right.
I agree.
So if you wouldn't mind, just hold the headset up to your ear.
Yes.
Senator Lindsey Graham is calling on you and Chuck Schumer to do this, cut 20.
So this legislation, if passed, would designate Russia as a state sponsor of terrorism under U.S. law until they return the children. If you want to vote no, we will make you famous. You need to vote. Thune and Schumer need to bring this bill up soon so we can tell Europe and the rest of the world, follow our lead.
So unless you return the 20,000 kids you stole, you're going to be on the state terror list. Will you bring that up?
Well, we will. And Lindsey's got another bill, that the Russia sanctions bill, which has broad bipartisan support in the Senate. And also, I think, hopefully at some point, we'll get a vote. Both of those are steps that I think identify Russia for what they are. And for for the Putin for what he is, and clearly make a statement to the rest of the world that hopefully the rest of the world will follow. At least certainly the West and freedom-loving countries in the world, I think, can rally around the cause of these children and Russia's role. And then also, I think, even more broadly than that, the sanctions issue, which would impose economic penalties on countries that do business with them.
You want to make sure the president would sign this.
Yeah,
because you don't want to put him in a bad place if he's not ready.
And so we have been working with the White House on that legislation. And we want to make sure that when we move it, it's something that they are comfortable with, and that they think enhances their ability to get a deal with Russia, and gives them the tools that they need. And so when the administration's ready to move, we will move.
I just want you to hear what the foreign minister and prime minister of Poland said about 9 or a bunch of drones going for his country came from Belarus and from Russia. This is what he told Brett last night, cut 23.
We were supposed to have sanctions, and instead we got Alaska. And since then, as you say, attacks have intensified. So I hope President Trump does what he has said he might do. To help Ukraine win, you have to give them long-range missiles to continue a successful campaign against Russian refineries.
How do you feel about that? I personally think it would be a great move to let Russia pay the price, since they're actually aiming for residential areas. They're not taking on soldiers.
Right, I agree. I mean, I think that anything we can do that enhances Ukraine's ability to meet force with force on the battlefield and bring Russia to the table, we ought to be doing. And this incursion into Polish airspace is a whole new level, which I think strikes at the very heart of sort of what this conversation is about, and that is the fact that Putin is going to continue to test us. And I think we've got to meet force with force. And one of the ways to do that, obviously, is to give the munitions and the arms and the weaponry that the Ukrainians need.
Finland's got their cage rattled. They're trying to. And Finland's a formidable force, so they know what they're against. No one has to explain their neighborhood. Poland's literally building a wall.
Yeah.
Right? At this hour.
Yeah.
So, and then we know how the Ukrainians can fight. The good news is, Senator, in my humble opinion, Europe no longer has to be convinced by the Americans that they got to defend themselves. The bad news is, the good news is they want to buy the weapons from us. The bad news is we have not expanded our industrial base.
Right.
Have you seen an effective proposal to expand our industrial base, be able to satisfy customers like Taiwan and Vietnam and Japan, and of course Europe? We want it. They'll pay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of great companies out there, Brian, that have innovative solutions that deal with kind of the evolutions that are occurring in modern warfare. And so the use of drones is becoming increasingly, and so we've got a lot of really good innovation in America, companies that are on the cutting edge of this that we need to start doing business with. And our military industrial base needs to change and modernize and evolve.
Have you had the conversation with Roger Wicker and others?
Yeah,
they got plans.
Yeah, they totally. And but the one big beautiful bill had sort of, I would say, generational investment in national security, having to do with ships, having to do with air assets, having to do with just replacing and building up munitions and that sort of thing. So that the one big beautiful bill, I think, was an important step forward. But obviously, it's not enough. We've got to continue to be ready to meet the threats of modern warfare that are being employed by a lot of our adversaries. But the one thing you mentioned was really important, and I was in Finland a couple of weeks ago and met with the Finnish leaders there. These people get it now, and I think they are more than ever want to work as partners with the U.S. And I think they're ready to buy our equipment. We just got to be able to start producing it at scale.
And I guess when you see a program, I know we have money. You just want to see a program that they plan on learning how to build ships again, even if we have to contract them out, the icebreakers, even if we have to go buy them from other countries, right?
Finland, Norway are very interested in icebreakers, and we are going to have to buy some of them from other countries because we don't have the capacity to do it in the U.S. You
made it clear you don't love the tariff idea, and because you have a very ag-driven state, and you feel as though they're being affected negatively. Soybeans especially, correct?
Yeah.
So your reaction to where we're at now, because the president cares about the farmers first almost. So are we in that deal-making mode now that people have to suck it up? Or is this a U.S.-China problem because they buy most of your soybeans?
Yeah, they do, largely U.S.-China, although if we can find other markets, we just need markets. We've got a really big crop coming in here this fall and no place to go with it. China's not buying, and 60% of our soybeans in South Dakota go to the export market. So it's a function of increasing demand, opening markets. I've impressed upon the White House the importance when they cut these deals of making sure that agriculture is front and center, because our farmers are the president's base. I mean, they believe in him. They're cutting him a lot of slack to make this work. But at the end of the day, and I've suggested too, because you heard him talk about on your show just now, the amount of revenue that's coming in off the tariffs. If that's true, they're probably going to need to set some of that aside to support farmers and ranchers.
He's done it before, but they don't want money. They want to sell.
They want to sell, and I'm with them. We need open markets more than anything else, but they're also going to need a bridge to the time when those deals start to come together, especially with China.
We only have 90 seconds left, and you have to go do a TV hit. But do you think the China summit that's coming up, I mean, we're in the middle of high-level, very adult-like talks with China. Is this in those talks? I mean, of them buying it, they need it.
Yeah.
So are they getting it from Brazil? Yeah,
they can. I mean, that's the challenge. They find other places to buy, but the U.S. is still, if you look at, and they're willing to pay more. They're paying more right now to buy Brazilian soybeans than they are the U.S. only because of the this trade sort of standoff we're at with them. But I hope the president can break through it. He has shown a remarkable ability. Not only to get people to the table, but to create reciprocity with countries that have been taking advantage of us. China is certainly an example of that, but they need to have ag front and center.
You liking the job?
It's as you know, Brian, there are good days and bad days, but I guess you feel like if you're getting things done, and we are, then that's where you get your satisfaction from.
Yeah, I think nothing but great things everybody hears about Senator John Thune. Some people of both sides like to work with. Senator, best of luck keeping the government open on all those polls in the air.
Yeah.
Senator John Thune, thanks so much.
Brian, good to be with you as always. Thanks.
Right.